can you take me to the town center? No problem. May God bless you. 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 May God bless you.
How's Africa?
What do you mean Africa? You think I'm dressed like this? I mean.
Let's go, uncle. Let's go.
I'm not your uncle, but I like the manners. So I'm going. You know about McDonald's?
Yeah.
McDonald's, yes. Just drop me out there. I got an important function. I'm an important man.
Oh yeah.
Chief Obinna. Okay. Park here. This is the stop. Since you called me uncle, don't pay no money, eh?
No
money.
No.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, young man. May God bless you.
God bless.
Thank you. Hey, Chineke. Chief of Wakanda. Obinna. How are you, young man? Thank you.
No.
Oh.
No.
I'm not everyone says.
What would you say?
That's the topic.
Say such a thing. JK. No, I don't think so.
I said it's a sensitive topic and you're about to see your running judge. What made you say no?
Because sometimes in life, shit happens, innit? You can't. What? Seriously, that real, innit? Like, sometimes, obviously. But to spell out for you, brother. Basically, sometimes you have a baby that no one ain't trying to have. It's gotta go.
Oh, that's deep.
I think.
He's being real. Yeah, we're being real. So yeah, that's how I respect the fact that you're being 100% honest. And that's how this discussion is only going to flow if people actually are being honest.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
there's no point of us speaking about this. Then we all curling a ball.
And yeah, if they make it illegal, yeah, and because making it illegal is not going to stop people having babies that they don't want. So they're going to have to go find other ways to not have a baby. It's going to be all kind of madness. People are going to be hitting themselves in the belly and things to get rid of it. Like it needs to be there, isn't it?
It would be a madness because if that was illegal, think of all the babies that would be motherless, dadless because they don't want the baby at all, and it was a mistake. And you know they didn't want it, and maybe they're not financially stable.
Don't have sex.
No, Briggs. My reason, yeah. Do not, no. I totally respect you, but the only reason I said yeah, because this is the main reason why I said it shouldn't be illegal is because yeah, a lot of these girls are getting raped nowadays. That's the thing. So a lot of these girls are being left with kids that they don't want. And what you want to be left with a kid that's out there. You're out there, but all these memories, and you're gonna have a kid that reminds you of what you've been raped.
I've got a story to tell.
Please.
Tell us off camera.
No, tell us now.
Don't be like that. Let her tell her story.
He just wants to get rid of me. He wants to get rid of me.
I know the woods, yeah. Ever since you said you got a man, he's not really feeling you that. He's not really hearing you anymore. Yeah. He's not really hearing you.
You started this bro, so I'm gonna finish it for you. Yeah, so a few years ago, I was actually raped, yeah, so it just sort of happened before my eyes, really. You know, it lasted for about 10 minutes, and I was just screaming, and this guy wouldn't let me go, and you know, next thing you know, like, I just ran away and like ran to the nearest train station, got on the nearest train, and just went home and scrubbed myself like I never scrubbed myself ever in my life. And yeah, like, I mean, being a rape victim, it definitely tears you down. And what I would say to the girls out there who have been in that situation, it's the most horrible situation that anyone could go through, and I wouldn't even wish it upon my worst enemy, to be fair. And you know, obviously that sort of thing led to, you know, something obviously forming inside my belly, and you know, I had to take care of it. I had to. I mean, I wasn't, you know, I wasn't of age. I was only 17, and you know, I wasn't even 18 yet. So it was just literally like a flash before my eyes. I didn't even know what was going on. And yeah, and then 2 years later, I decided to open up about it. I kept it quiet because I just couldn't tell anyone. And you know, everyone keeps telling me, even to this day, open a case, but there's not enough sufficient evidence to do that. So there's no point. But he's a free man. He's walking right now. He's doing whatever he wants. Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely something that I have learnt from, but I didn't learn enough, because that ended up with me being physically abused last year by my ex-boyfriend. And yeah, that got taken to court, and
don't blame yourself, though. You can't say that. Yeah, you can't say that you didn't learn. That's not you, innit? Man, they need to stop that. If we catch you, it's lashes outside. It's lashes.
How much lashes?
Yeah.
But relating back to obviously what the question was about abortion being illegal, I think I don't think it should be illegal, because there's instances obviously of rape. Why would we want to look after a child if we never wanted it in the first place, and if it was forced upon us to do so?
How you doing? You alright?
Yeah, not bad.
Good. What's your name?
Tasha.
Tasha.
I'm 21.
21. You're at uni, college, or?
No, I'm working now. I work with Eddie.
Oh, dude, is that how you know him?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, right. We're really happy to have you.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
And that's our body that we're giving to this child, and that person isn't going to be there to support us at the end of it. So we're going to be in one big mess afterwards. So
I think just to piggyback off that, I feel like, especially what my brother was saying, I think for women it's very hard, because you can't really play your motherly role seeing that child, because the flashbacks are always consistently coming back, and for you to be emotionally connected to that child, it's tough. It's really difficult, and I feel like you can't really connect to the child, and you just consistently, you're just forever like resenting the child, because it's more like you're here and I didn't want you. It was forced upon me, and it's now like I'm forced to kind of take care of you, even though I didn't want to. So it's. I think it shouldn't be illegalized. I think.
Talk to me. Yeah, your face.
I don't know about his point, like about love. I feel like I've never given birth. But I've never given birth, innit? But but you might not laugh if everything's bants. But I feel like what's ever happened, and I feel like that's what you're about to bring up. I feel like I don't think mothers take that on the child. Like I don't think that it carries on. Like if you've held someone for 9 months, regardless, fair enough, you got it. I don't think mothers would love the child less than the child that he had, because of the situation that happened. Fair enough. Like I feel like shit's happened.
Talk to me, bro. What do you do?
I do law. Second year law.
Stressful.
Soon bus case. Part-time, full-time student. I'm not part-time. If my dad hears this, I'm full-time student. Part-time music part-time working man, part-time fly, part-time everything, part-time Christian. Yeah, that's it. That's full-time actually. Full-time Christian. My mum might be watching. Not the child, regardless.
Yeah, I don't reckon. Yeah. I reckon. Obviously, I've never been raped. Yeah, but how I look on it, I reckon that's gonna leave a lasting impact. Imagine, think about it. Yeah, you've been raped now. Yeah. And the child that you're giving birth to, the dad is the person who raped you. Yeah, every time you look, you might look like the dad. It might be a boy, you might look like the dad. You're looking at him every time. You're seeing his face. He gets older now. You're basically seeing the man that raped you. Like, that's not easy. I don't reckon that's easy.
Yeah, but I don't feel that. I feel like I get your point, but I feel like to an extent, like I don't think.
Don't get me wrong. I reckon some parents can. It won't affect. I don't reckon it's right. It's fair to say that. Yeah. All parents won't feel any type of way after, because some people, depend on your mental state, how you are, it can affect you, I reckon. And it can affect you looking at that child constantly.
I understand that. Constantly. I don't even know what the freaking word is, so y'all gonna have to educate me, like, is it postnatal depression or whatnot? Even without anything happening, you just have a normal pregnancy and whatnot. Women still, depending on the depression, do you see where I'm coming from now? You double that with the fact that you can have that on top of this is how the child is being conceived. Do you see where I'm coming from? So that's why it shouldn't be illegal. Yeah. But on the same merit, they will. You know, sometimes you're put in a situation where you didn't ask for, but you will almost have, because the child is the blameless one in the whole thing. Not that you're not blameless yourself, but it's almost like you're unfortunately forced into a situation where you have to make the decision of whether you're going to keep it or not. And if you do keep it, you're going to have to be like, look, well, I'm going to have to firm up on me a little bit, because I can't blame this child for something that it wasn't party to. They had no idea about what. Do you see where I'm coming from? So how do you balance? So it's really a balancing. How does the mother balance thinking, yo, but it's not this kid's fault? Do you see where I'm coming from? In terms of if you do have the child and like try and raise it, because at some point, the blame that or the fury or whatever that you feel or whatnot, there's only so much you'll be allowed, even by other people, to take out on the same child, regardless of what you've done. Because there will come a time limit where it's like, yo, I know you've been through shit in it, but it's not the child's fault. People will stop looking at you after a certain time. They will start focusing on the child. You see where I'm coming from? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. There's a balance that you have to play if you make the decision to keep it, or you're well within your rights to do whatever you want, but there is definitely a balance that has to be sort of struck from your point of view and the child's point of view if you go that far. 100%.
I think anyone that has gone through an experience like that, it does leave you mentally ill. So you're not prepared to go and deal with an unborn child just yet, right? Because physically you're not ready, and mentally you're not there, because it does fuck with your head massively. And I think that's one element of it which I think a lot of people just dismiss, because it does actually happen. Like if someone touched me a few days after that, I was just flinching all the time. I was like, don't touch me, please don't touch me. You know, it just like, it puts a lot of fear into you, because you know that it might happen again, or it could happen again. And I think if you're not healthy mentally and physically, I don't think a baby should be born into the world where you can't support it. And if you're not all there, I mean, that's the first thing you need. You need to know what you're doing when a baby comes into the world. And I think it does depend on how you live with it psychologically.
Obviously, sorry for what happened to you and stuff like that. Okay. But for me, the reason why I said it should be legal, because because obviously, it's to an extent. There are certain men, that will let you go ahead, play with the girl's emotion, have sex with her. She's pregnant now. Like, I don't want a baby. Now she goes, clears it off. Then another man comes in, same thing. Then what happens is that it automatically kind of destroys her womb, and then in the future she can't have a baby because of what she did in the past. So I mean, to an extent, because of what happened in her previous life, man then literally went through her, did the thing, and moved on. Yeah, but that's like
to her.
But then
that's the goal.
No. Finish. Wait. The reason why I say this, like, because a guy can easily say, "Oh no, condom slip or whatever," or whatever, condom ripped up and stuff like that. But it's more of
the girl.
It's not the girl, but it's the guy as well.
No, are you more trying to say that we don't think about the girl?
Like the girl takes the backlash.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's more, also because at the end of it, she's gonna suffer the consequences. Like, look, okay. I have an auntie. Well, I used to have an auntie. She passed away because of that. Obviously, because of abortion, she didn't make it. Because the guy didn't want the baby no more, so she had to go and get rid of it. She didn't make it because of that. So that's what I'm saying. To an extent, it should be that way. But obviously, it is the guy, because obviously he said no to it. Had he said yes, she would have kept it and stuff like that. But because she didn't want to go to her parents and say, "Yo, this is what happened." Because at the end of the day, the moment she goes home, the dad's literally gonna get rid of her, and she can't bear the thought of losing her dad, one, and also losing the man. So she wanted to get rid of it, and now.
Coming from your comment as well, sorry, D. So are you basically saying that you think it should be illegal based on your past experience, as in what's happened to your family?
It's literally 50-50, because like what she said, she wasn't expecting it to happen, and then boom, it happened, and obviously she's not ready for anything. So I agree with that bit also. But then there's certain people, certain mandems who literally will do it and will literally say, yeah, I don't want a kid, I wasn't ready for it, or I never liked you in the first place. But straight away, you're like, oh crap.
What I'm saying though, yeah, there is, it's 2018, yeah, there's ways as a man and as a woman that you can prevent yourself from having babies before, so that I don't have to get to the abortion step. If you both don't take the necessary action to stop it from happening, then you're both at fault. So whether it's the boy that doesn't want to keep it or the woman that doesn't want to keep it, literally you're both at fault, because you should you should have been sorted out from before. And even still, like vice versa. So if you say you flip it now, yeah, and you got a man that's basically been trapped. He might have even been drugged. He was drugged and he's fucked. The woman gone home now, raped him, because men get raped as well. So imagine now, yeah. So boom. So now she's got a baby, and he's got racks now. He's got bare racks. She only done it to literally to trap him now. So you reckon it's right for her to be able to keep it now, and that he ain't got no say in it.
I feel like regardless, he still ain't got say in it. Like when two people have sex, I feel like Mandem will say, "Oh, babes, whatever you want in it." I feel like that's a really stupid statement, because obviously it's two people that are having a child. Fair enough, it's her body, but it's two people. But then in a case like that, like what you're saying, obviously you can't. The guy doesn't have any. The whole thing is not about the baby. It's about if you have sex with someone raw. I know that how raw that sounds, but if you sleep with someone unprotected, unprotected, yeah. If you sleep with someone unprotected, it means that you've consented to having a child with this. I know a lot of people, this might go over your head here, but think of it. Sex is for reproduction. If you're sleeping with someone bareback, fair enough. She's trapped you, but you put yourself in that.
What about if you wrapped up and the condom split?
If you're having sex with someone, the whole point of sex is for reproduction. Fair enough. If you want to be and dip, still you're putting yourself in that situation to reproduce. This is the whole thing, and I feel like also about Ethan's point about the thing about your auntie's thing. Yeah, totally not to disrespect. You know, you're laughing. I know I can see you laughing. Think I'm about to chat trash. I would never disrespect. But I feel like when death comes into a lot of situations, everyone favors themselves. Yeah. Everyone always favors themselves that because someone died. But think of it this way: before, and I do not know the ins and outs. This is why I said I don't know. But I thought before a person has an abortion, they're consulted by doctors that tell them that this is what could happen. This is what could happen if you take the abortion. If you're not old enough, or if you're too old, if you have an illness, like she said, you have to be healthy. So after all of that, fair enough, you might be scared of the backlash that you're going to get from your parents or from the man. But I feel like sometimes as well, in that case, she could have went through a better state. I'm not saying, I don't know, I feel like it's hard. It's something hard for me to say because she's dead. But I feel like as a human, before that would have happened, before the death, I feel like there could have been great. And I've spoken to you about this private before, about parents being too being too hard on their children, not to be able to bring stuff to them, because like this could have just saved their life. You get me? And I feel like the man as well, giving them bare pressure. You get me? Giving her bare pressure that take the child away. I feel like man them need to stop that. Like if you're putting yourself in a position with sleeping with someone, you're putting yourself in a position to have a child. To have a child. Fair enough. We can say that, oh, I got money, you're trying to trap me, but I slept with you though. I slept with you. Yeah, and you probably must have told me that, oh, you told it, because a lot of guys nowadays tell the girls that I love them bare just to sleep with them, and then later on they'll be like, oh, she thinks I got money, so I'm trapping. So I feel like to an extent it shouldn't be legal, because there's a lot of things. There's more disadvantage. If it becomes illegal, there's a lot of disadvantages that are going to happen. And think of this is just a pure example that there's a lot of the youth nowadays are reckless. We're reckless. It's not a lie. We're reckless, and we don't know what's out there. We don't know. We just see people doing it on TV, so we want to try, and then stuff like this happen. Do you get me? So I feel like it being illegal, it is a big hindrance. Like you're putting a big thing, and I feel like the only reason why it should be legal to a certain extent, if you're coming from a religious background, which obviously like some Christians, some Christians will say that, oh, obviously if you have an abortion, obviously we all know the punishments in hell and all of that. I don't know about other religions, but I'm sure there's consequences. So I feel like that's an extent, but I feel like we should also look at how society is going forward and not base it on solely on religion, because not everyone's religious, and just make it general and not be illegal. That's all I have to say.
I think there's just a lot of stupid people out there who take it for granted, purely because we see these like shows now, teen mums and all this, and you see what they go through, and it's just like they don't even care about.
It shouldn't be legal, because it shouldn't be illegal. I agree with what most of you are saying, because obviously like kids, like young people, like obviously young girls are starting puberty at a young age now. Like some people are starting their periods at like 10, and obviously if they were put into a situation where they do get raped, like their body can't physically handle it. Like most likely they will die giving birth. Yeah, the most likely they will die if they try to give birth. So, and obviously they won't. Even if they do manage to give birth, they won't be able to support that child anyway. And obviously, I'm sure the parents won't even help support it. I doubt it as well, because like why would they want to see like their 10-year-old have like running with a kid, because she's still a kid. Like how is she meant to? She's still a kid. Yeah, how is she meant to look after another kid when she's a kid as well? So I feel like it should be legal. Okay. Yeah.
Shaking, so I'm not gonna. I just don't know why it's even a question. Like why it's too close to home. Like I don't know why it should even be considered illegal. Like I think things happen in life, and that's there, and that's an option, and that's that. Like,
comes from, well, you've got the religious aspect, and like you were saying about not mixing it, you've got the religious aspect where people will do the whole, they believe in the sanctity of life thing, where they believe it's a life from conception sort of thing, which is why you have the whole thing where everyone's like, nah, it's a life, you can't do that, it's a right wing or more conservative more thing to say, in terms of like, I definitely was pro-life when I was younger. As I grew older, my ass became pro-choice. Do you see where I'm coming from? So like my mindset changed based on age, based on people's experiences. Do you see what I'm saying? It wasn't always clear cut. I was like, you know what? Yeah. So I said, you know what? It's just best for you to have the option.
In the whole religion thing, like
to do what you want.
That's not the choice that you've been, like, that's not the path that you've been given and all that. Yeah, but if that path even has that choice, then that's your path. The fact that that's even got that side road, then that's... I understand the aspect of the whole path thing. I think it's not so much the path that I was looking at, to be fair anyway, that is a valid point. It's the fact that you now have, from some certain people's perspective, another life in contention with your own. Do you see where I'm coming from? So what essentially I think they're doing is you're now essentially comparing your life with that supposed life. Do you get what I mean? Where you're now making the choice as to whether that life survives. You're going to survive regardless, to an extent. Do you see where I'm coming from? And so that's why I think the thing comes in. I'm not saying it's right for people to try and push that on anyone, but I think that's where people are coming from to say, look, they're viewing it as a life on its own, as it were.
that's where people, because once you start to look at it that way and couch it that way, that gives you a leg up to start having an argument in the first place. Do you see where I'm coming from? Even though people, life is nowhere near straightforward. Do you get what I mean? Like I was, like I said, I was pro-life to start with. I was like, actually, nah, that's not as clear cut as that seems. And you can see that based on just the conversation and the scenarios that people have come up with over the course of the evening. Yeah. It's not something that is black and white, unfortunately. No. Everyone would like for it to be, but it's not. So, I don't know.
So, with that being said, yeah, this is going to be quite deep. Well, in my head anyway, it sounds quite deep. What if we were one of the kids who were aborted then?
We would be here, my brother.
With that concept in everyone's head, then do we still think that it should still be legal?
Well, yeah. Saying that I could have been a boy, so I couldn't be here.
Imagine if you was the choice to be.
Yeah, bro. That's not, you can't be biased just because it's you. It's the same shit. It still applies. Who am I?
These bills are expensive. Before you arrived, you know yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you became conscious of yourself as you got older. Before then,